All right, let's move to the next question. How are you and the Latter-day Struggles growth and processing groups different than other options online? Okay, there are quite a few options online, and I'm so happy about that, right? Because there was a time not very long ago where there weren't very many options. So I'm going to just say a few things that I think probably define what I do as at least slightly different. There are a lot of groups out there where people find connection, and I love that, and that is needed and necessary. We, of course, do that as well. I care tons about creating community. However, to my knowledge, I think I'm the only group that is structured, that is cohort based, meaning that you are with the same group of people or close to the same group of people for the whole year of your work. It's also curriculum based. I have spent thousands of hours creating a really, really beautiful curriculum for my faith expansion or my faith crisis healing and my patriarchy healing groups. I also will have, you have access to video record or audio recordings, sorry, and also a textbook with kind of like a workbook component to it. So this is very structured. You can think about this like you would think about a graduate education in your spiritual development. I think that's different. Something else that I don't think is out there very much, if at all, is a lot of those spaces are not structured and led by a mental health professional. Also, I don't know that a lot of these groups have a goal in mind of helping people recover from the LDS-oriented faith crisis with a solid understanding of their faith journey, of themselves, and of a spiritual path forward. I care a lot about this, and I've been very, very intentional about this, and I do think that's what sets the Latter-day Struggles groups apart. Okay, I offer every one of these things to you, and also a couple more things I think I want to say about this in terms of how we're different here is that I know that out there, some groups are sort of set around an open format that in some ways may feel a little bit like venting or just sort of having somewhere to sort of process about some of the, the pain points. And I think there's a place for that. I also have heard many, many times people come to the Latter-day Struggles groups because they have been there, done that, and it served its purpose, and they noticed that they were kind of stuck. They were kind of just cycling around the venting, and they felt this longing for peace and for healing. And I've heard many times people say, I knew it was time to go to the Latter-day Struggles groups. So that's what we do here. We really want to help. I want to help provide a path for you towards spiritual healing, and actually, I know this is a big word, but I stand by it, spiritual awakening, because I think that's what happens here. And I've seen it happen over and over again. Something else that I want to make sure I'm clear about is we don't necessarily avoid addressing problematic issues in specific areas, because those are there. And as you probably know, if you listen to the podcast, I don't shy away from those things. However, these spaces here in my groups are actually designed more to help you understand the version of you that wanted and needed early stage faith, which Mormonism is. And also I help you make sense of and understand why you needed that, why every human being needs it, and also how you have come to where you are ready to move to a later stage of your growth and development as a spiritual being. And I walk you through that path. What we do in these groups is we come together and connect with this emerging, awakening version of ourselves that is ready for something richer and deeper and more connected to our internal divines. So what my group is, incidentally, is not exactly about the specifics of Mormonism, which always sort of comes to people as a surprise, but they're like, oh my goodness, these groups are more deep and more healing than I could have ever imagined. And I hear that over and over and over again. And you can only imagine how much that warms my heart, because they are truly places of sacred communion between ourselves as we walk through these things together.